It's so cool that you're in here. The first thing is this, is that, this room where we have, you can fit like 15 people and you're all sitting on each other's laps. Next year, when Nick comes back and talks about digital products, it's going to have to be in a room that is the size of a ballroom, because that's the way that the world is going. And that you're here, you're kind of on the front edge of it, and that is so cool. And the coolest thing about you being here is that you get to hear Nick Knight. And the great thing about Nick is that he's a student of his own craft. So he owns Revisit.com, and Revisit is a vendor here down in the booth down there. If you haven't visited him, you definitely should. He's not here to talk about his product. This is not a commercial for him. He can't say what I'm saying about him right now. But here's the thing. Because he does what he does in the space that he does in digital products, he has had to become a student of everybody else. And so he knows the goods, the bads, the ins, and the outs. And the information you're about to get is going to be like kind of a college class in a short amount of time. You take lots of notes really fast. He's going to tell you how he's going to deliver some information to you so that you can have that at your beck and call. But here's the thing. Still take lots of notes. It's going to be almost overwhelming, the amount of information. But here's the deal. He is here until Wednesday?
Yes.
Yes, here until Wednesday, along with his people who can also answer questions about all of the different things that he's talking about. So without further ado, you're in the right place, because this is the direction of our industry, of our business, of the whole arena of communication and information delivery. Please help me welcome Nick Knight.
Thank you, everybody. Scott, thank you, my man. Thanks a lot, Scott. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate that. Welcome, everybody. My name is Nick Knight. It's just a great honor to be able to present at NSA. It's unbelievable. I couldn't believe when they asked me, so thank you all for coming. And if there would have only been 3 people here, I probably would never get invited back, so I appreciate that very much. Today we're going to talk about digital products. We're going to talk about how that helps your business as speakers in a number of different ways. And I'm going to give you a lot of resources that are going to be able to accomplish this inexpensively, sometimes for free, quite often for free, and easily. Okay? So you're going to get a lot of websites to go visit that are really amazing that I've kind of accumulated over time. We're going to give you a lot of strategies and stuff. I want you to know that I do have a way that you're all going to be able to get that information without having to write it all down. So don't feel obligated to write it all down. Write down stuff. If you have questions, we're going to take some questions here and there as well. So I hope you guys can all be comfortable with that. And I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. And the first thing I want to ask you is, what is a digital product? I get that question all the time because it's kind of confusing. There's e-commerce and there's other things that people go, well, is a digital product something that means they pay me online, or they're not really sure what that is. So the answer to that question is anything that can be sold, delivered, and consumed entirely online. Okay? This is an important distinction because what that means for you is that you're on autopilot. You've built a product, you've put it online, and now anybody can buy it at any time of the day from anywhere in the world, and you can be on a stage somewhere doing what you do best. So this is really important. That's what a digital product is. Now, that does overlap into some of the other things that we're going to talk about today, but I want that distinction right up front. So let's talk about the top 5 reasons to go digital. Okay? It's not just to generate revenue, although that's a big one. Okay? The first one let's talk about is brand building. If the only way people know your message is to be in your audience or to visit your website, you are not brand building. Okay? Because the likelihood of people being in your audience or stumbling across your website is very small. So how do you get your expertise? You're all experts at something, which is why they invite you to speak on the stage. How do you get that out to more people? Because if you get it out to more people, those people will be in your audience at some point, or they will hire you to speak. So you need to do this brand building. So one of the ways you can do that very effectively is to have a lot of products at various price points that anybody can afford to come in and start to find out that, yes, you are, in fact, a leader in your industry and somebody they should be listening to. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a seat.
Sorry. Couldn't find it. Couldn't find it, exactly.
I know, it's very... They purposely hid it back in the room so only the really, people that wanted to seek out this information would be here. So, top 5 reasons to go digital. Number 1, brand building. Number 2, list building. Okay? If you're selling books, and how many people here have authored a book? Almost everybody. Let me tell you your problem with a book. Number 1, there's no more bookstores. Okay, well, we know that. If you sell physical books, you have a big problem, which is you don't know who your customers are. Very rarely do you sell a book and get an email address out of that transaction. So you have somebody in the world who knows who you are and is passionate enough about what your message is to pay you money for that information, and you don't know them. That's a crime. You've got to stop that. You need to know every one of your customers. There's a lot of reasons for that, first of which being loyalty marketing. Right? You want to be able to tell your customers when your next book's coming out, because they're 50% more likely to buy your product than anybody else. Okay? So list building is an important reason to go digital. Number 3, no manufacturing, no storage. How many people have pallets of books in their garage? Yeah, right? I mean, boxes and boxes, right? And you're storing them, and you have to go and actually physically fulfill those products as well. Now, you might be using print-on-demand services, which is a great way to go. However, you're not making very much money there. So these are all the things that you have to consider. With digital products, you don't have that problem. The other one is you don't have shipping or packaging. So what happens if you're in Maui doing that cool keynote speech, and then you get a bunch of orders, and your books are home in your garage, right? There's nobody there to stuff it into an envelope. You don't have to go to the post office, all those things. Digital products, automated, effortless. And number 5, automated, worldwide sales and distribution. So somebody in Thailand buys your product. They have it instantly. Somebody in China buys your product instantly. You can collect the money from them in their currency, and when it gets to you, it's in your currency. Let me say it one more time. I'll underline it. Worldwide. Very important. Okay? So we want to make sure we cover all these things with digital products and move away from just having physical products only. Now, this presentation I've put on kiwilive.com. That's your first resource you need to know about if you don't already know. And I have no association with these various companies that I'm going to be giving you as resources. Some of them have partnered up with Revisit, my company as well, but I have no financial interest in them. I just think they're awesome. Okay? So kiwilive.com. If you have a mobile phone or a computer right now, you can do this right now, or you can do it later. You go to kiwilive.com, and you'll see a big box like that, and you put the word Revisit in there, and you will get a bunch of cool free stuff, including this slideshow, including my whole resource list, including my book synced for free, including my teleclass profitability for free, and some other stuff. So everything's there. You just go and get it. Okay? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so, and it's something you guys need to know about. Kiwi Live, that's going to be the first resource for you. Why? Because it's a digital connection to your stage. So now, you people are my friends. I want you to know me. I want to know you. As soon as you go do this, Kiwi Live is going to make a connection with us. And I'll be able to tell you what I'm doing and what's going on. You'll be able to contact me because you're going to have my contact info. So I've made a digital connection with everybody in my audience. That's a very important point that I wanted to get to you guys. Content modalities, this is a term that I coined, and I base it off of something called learning modalities. So if you ever study learning modalities, that's a field a lot of educators use, and it describes the way people learn something best. So that means not everybody learns the same. Some people are readers. They like to read a book, sit down with a book and read it. Some people need to watch something. They've got to watch a video, or they need to be engaged in that way. That's how they absorb the information. Some people have to have audio. They've got to put it in their ears, go jogging, and that's how it sticks. Maybe they listen to it on their daily commute to work. Okay? So not everybody learns the same. And I'm just out of curiosity, how many people here, just taking a guess, how many people here would think that video is the number one way people learn? How many people think it's reading books? Yeah? How many people think it's audio? Okay, not everybody voted. That's fine. Okay. It's very interesting. I'm going to give you the answer to that in just a second. There we go. Visual. So the first modality, and I've changed this to content modalities for a reason, because all of those ways that you learn will be done through digital products. So you have the opportunity to give them information the way they want to learn it. So visual, for example, you could create videos, or you could have your presentations, much like this presentation that I'm going to give to you guys. So that you might, as you go through it, you'll remember the things I said, and that might be the way you learn best. You might want to do online demos and tutorials and stuff like that. So some of the people will learn best that way. Second way, oral. That's listening. They just need to listen. They don't want to read. They don't want to be distracted by anything visually. So they might like audiobooks. They might like MP3s or your podcasts. I'm a big podcast listener. I go for walks in the morning. I listen to podcasts. That information is really absorbed by me more so than books. I'm a person that's generally visual first, then audio, then books. So if somebody gives me a book, much like Scott Halford's book, if he's still here, he's not, so I'm picking on him. But he's given me his book, and I keep thumbing through it, but I'm not sitting down to read it, and it's driving me crazy. And I wish I had another way to engage with that material. I wish I had it all in an audiobook format so I could just put it in and go for my walks and listen to each chapter every day. The third way is written, which is crossover with tactile and interactive. So basically, written people are people that need to hold something or engage with something in their hands. They want to turn the pages. They want to feel it. That's just whether it's an emotional connection, but that's how they learn best. But there's a lot of ways that goes. It could be ebooks. They need to hold their device in their hand and flick through the pages. It could be interactive stuff, puzzles and games, physical objects. They need to actually pick it up and play. They're the people who don't read the instructions. They're the people who go right into the box and start putting it together wrong. Okay? Those are those guys. And also hands-on learning environments. So those are the people that are going to learn best that. And if you have a course that you teach and you do a hands-on learning environment, you're going to find that some people are going to really gravitate towards that. Those are those people. So you want to hit all of their content modalities. So here's that question again. Which product type, which modality do you guys think is the most successful one? Do you think it's video, audio, or written? Video? Usually my audiences say it's video. That's generally, and what's interesting about that is everybody raises their hand and says, I've written a book, but everybody thinks video is the way to, right? Kind of a disconnect. Here's the answer. Evenly. Can you believe that? They've done a lot of studies on this. You can look it up online, and you will see that learning modalities are evenly divided across the public, exactly even. It's unbelievable. Yes?
Does it seem to be divided by generation, like, more baby boomers?
No, it's not, and I looked into that as well. It's just people's nature. Yes, sir?
What about type of content? Because I know that soft skills are definitely more audio, and certain skill
Right.
sets are different types of content.
I think maybe people are drawn to skill types based on their learning modality, I would guess. So what's interesting about this is if you have a book, can I tell you right now, if you take away nothing else from here today, if you have a book, you're hitting one modality, which means 2/3 of the people you are not connecting with. Okay? So we're going to talk about how do you fix that problem. Leveraging your message, the art and strategy of repurposed content.